July 27, 2010. We're talking with Dottie Armstrong.
Right.
Dottie, when did you first begin working at Manchester Community College?
I believe it was 1971. I think it was 1971, or between 69 and 70 and 71.
And what were you doing before you got hired at the college?
I was working in the welfare department, for over in Manchester on Middle Turnpike. And I had a friend that worked at the college, and she knew I didn't like my job, so she said, come on over to the college. They're looking for somebody to do some accounting work. So I was only a clerk typist, but he took me anyway because I guess the pay was a little bit lower. So, but anyway, when I first went up to the college, they said, look for this little schoolhouse halfway up the hill. So I drove up there and I thought, oh my goodness, is that the college? So I went in the back door, and it was just a 3-room? I think it was just a 3-room school. And Dr. Lowe's office was there, and the business office, and one other office. I don't recall what it was, but it was a very happy place. I mean, at night we had to make sure we had no food or we'd have mice in our drawers. So we made sure that everything was cleaned out of food. And it lasted, I think, till we had the groundbreaking for the new building. Well, I should say new buildings.
So your first office was where?
Keeney Street. Keeney Street, in the little schoolhouse up on Keeney Street.
And you stayed there until the East Campus was built?
Until the East Campus was built, yeah.
And when you moved to the East Campus, were you still working for the business office?
Oh, yes. I worked for the business office. Well, I think payroll was part of the business office at that time until Marie Solomon took over. But, yes, we were in the business office.
Who were some of the people you worked with in those early years?
Well, I remember Louise Flebo, Velma, I can't remember what her last name was, Emily Grant, she's gone. Who else was there? I can't remember too many more. But then there was Dr. Lowe's office, and his secretary was there. And I can't remember all the names. I'd have to look at my book.
Did you have a chance to talk with Dr. Lowe while you were working here?
Oh, yeah, everybody did. We said hello to him and how you doing. We'd have our Christmas party all together and up there in that little building. And the dean of the students, do you remember what his name was? You can't remember. But anyway, he made this fabulous cheesecake. I wish I could remember what his name was. But and he always made sure he had that. In fact, I still have the recipe for his cheesecake.
What kind of person was Dr. Lowe?
Oh, gosh. He was friendly. Anybody could talk to him. I think he was my favorite of the whole college. Everybody liked him. He was an unusual person. But,
who were some of the other people that you remember?
My business manager, Carl Happ. I had him for a long time until he finally retired. He was a nice guy too. He very understanding. He ran a very smooth business office. And after him, we had 2 or 3 more. I think it was different ones. But yeah, I liked Carl Happ.
Now, when the Lowe building opened, did you move there?
Yes, we did. The business office had quite a big space. But that's when I transferred from the as accounting clerk. I went into a payroll, and we had a small space, and they were looking for something bigger. So that's when they decided they were going to put us in the basement. So we were in the basement of the Lowe building for up to when I retired. And then I think they moved upstairs after that. I don't know where the payroll department is now.
What changes did you see in the college during the 20 years you worked there?
The amount of students, my goodness. It seems like we were always opening new classes. There's a lot more education, what do they call that? that just come in to learn certain
Continuing
jobs.
Continuing education.
Continuing it, right. There's a lot more of that. We had a bigger payroll for not full-time professors and teachers, but for the part-time people. We had one payroll clerk that came in just for that. I did the staff and faculty, but she did the part-time faculty. So, yeah, it was the kids, I think, more than anything. Than having our own lunchroom. My goodness, that was something, having the lunchroom there in the low building. And the library was so much bigger. It was just it was just in a much nicer place.
Did you ever take courses while you were working here?
Yes, I did. I took a couple, just for fun. I tried a biology course. I didn't do too well, but I hung in there. I know I didn't get a passing grade, but and something else I took too. I was into genealogy at the time, so I did do a couple of how-to courses.
What are some of the things that you're most proud of during the 20 years you worked here?
Most proud of? Well, I think that I was able to get along with the people when I was on payroll. Oh, sometimes I told them like it was. And especially when I had one professor, I'll never forget him. I loved him dearly, but oh my goodness. I remember one time he came down and said to me, "How come my wife is still on my life insurance, or my health insurance?" I says, "Why? Don't you like her?" He says, "Well, I'm divorced." I said, "Why didn't you tell me?" I says, "I don't know this." I says, "You have to let me." I think he was on for over a year, and he couldn't figure out why he was paying for her. He never told us, but it was funny little things that happened all the time. So.
Tell me about the New England Relays.
Oh gosh, that was a lot of fun. We had kids from all over the state, and I think it was in the lunchroom. I think was in the high school. I can't remember exactly where, but we had to get the meals ready for the kids. I remember chopping lettuce for salads. And they had, can't remember what the other thing, hot dogs and hamburgers, I think. I'm not really positive, but I remember chopping up all that lettuce for the salads. And then I went around to the different concessions that they had to collect the money. And I remember the policeman saying to me, "When you get all that money collected," he says, "put it in the trunk of your car before you go home." So I said, "Okay, I'll do that." But yeah, and you saw the kids. You're excited for them. They did their thing. Whatever race they were in, it was always a lot of happy people. It was a wonderful thing. As you say, I wish they still were doing that.
So essentially, they brought students from different community colleges, and they did track.
I don't know if they were from just community colleges. Pat Mistretta probably. I'm sure he'll tell you. But I know there's just a lot of kids there. As a matter of fact, during one of the races, I have a picture there of some of our own people being in it. Debbie and, let's see, she's one of your police officers now. Darlene was in the race. In fact, one of the pictures I got them circled so you could see who they were. But yeah, some of the things we could take part in.
Are there any funny experiences that you want to share with us?
Funny experiences. Well, not really. I don't remember. We did a lot of laughing. I know down in the basement, they always used to kid us all the time because we were nobody could find us. So whenever the elevator door opened, we wondered, well, who's this now coming down here? But no, I don't remember anything really funny. Although I took part in a play. It was something to do with Mac the Knife. And what they had me do was collect some of the items they needed for the play, like a tin cup and a baseball bat and something else. And then I had to sit behind the curtain and watch the lines. And if anybody forgot their lines, I would have to tell them. But I couldn't figure out who was talking, so if they ever missed their lines, I never would have been able to tell them. But we got through it, and it was fun.
Earlier you showed me a program that you brought from a recognition event from 1992.
Oh gosh.
Is that something you were involved in?
Yes, that's when they had to get a new president? Yeah, I was on that board that read all these papers from all these different people who were applying for that position. That is the hardest thing I ever did. I kept reading everybody's resumes, trying to figure out who would be the best. How can you figure that out? There's no way I could have figured that out. So I just thought, well, I like this guy. So I had 3 or 4 that I liked. Of course, we picked the wrong one. But he lasted for a while.
So I was thinking about an event in the auditorium where people were honored. You had a program from the early 90s.
Oh, when we retired? For Dr. Dobby. Yeah, he wrote us all. And in fact, we got our retirement certificates. It was a very nice presentation. And we all got a medal in a beautiful little stand. In fact, I could have brought it in, only I forgot. But that's when each of us went up like we were graduating. We went up and got our folder or whatever, and few people applauded. Good, glad she's gone. No, but yeah.
What have you been doing since you retired?
Oh goodness! After I retired, I worked on genealogy for a while. I worked on my husband's side, because he's a descendant of the founders of ancient Windsor. He's also a descendant of the founders of Hartford. And I had a year or so to do that before he retired. And then we traveled. We took 3 months and we drove to Alaska. And I had family on the West Coast, so we visited all of them. And we were traveling ever since, till about 2 years ago, when my husband now is not able to do all that driving. So he was a truck driver, so he had places he wanted to go, and we did. We went to those places.
What advice would you give to someone who is just about to begin their career at MCC?
Well, I had a very happy employment here. I met a lot of nice people. Just hang on, look around, and see who you're working with. And just be happy. Just, laugh a lot, and don't let anything bother you, because a lot of things could. I know there was a couple of times I would like to have quit, and I said no, because things got so hectic in the business office. One thing, though, I do remember was the kids. We had part-time students working for us when I was accounting clerk. One was a lovely black girl, and we had our picture taken together. I was standing behind her at the desk where she was sitting, and I was showing her, and they took a picture of us, and it went into the capsule, the time capsule. You knew there's a time capsule. Well, our picture's in that time capsule. I thought that was neat. And then the payroll, we had students that worked for us in payroll. And I think they always wanted to come back to us.
Do you remember what else went in the time capsule?
No, I don't. I don't know what else they put in there. Probably silly things, I'm sure. No, I don't.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I, as I say, I really enjoyed my time here at Manchester Community College. I haven't been back for anything because now I'm quite involved in the senior center in South Windsor, because we do a lot of volunteering there. and for the Chamber of Commerce we do too. So we're spending our last few years really trying to enjoy life. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.